Off, I believe my internal disposition is a huge handicap that is debilitating me in all my interactions. Until this problem is fixed, I'll reduce my footprints. I do have two solutions that could help tremendously. An advocate on Earth who knows my handicap and will help me maneuver around people, bridging the gap between brain structures, maintaining social role, reputation, and intentional direction among deferred psych structures, helping me express intent, refining the message, and thus gaining traction among deferred psych structures. This will preserve social role and reputation, and also for people to be educated in how to interact with individuals with sensitive dispositions. Emphasize the importance of cultivating love, setting boundaries, and communicating more. Ostracizing individuals for misguided behaviors does not cultivate leadership or growth. Let's not forget exercising understanding if a person has underlying conditions. That pathological mistakes could be a mind problem, not a character problem. Without that communication and understanding, influences may fill in the blanks with their assumptions of another's character. Here's a visual analogy. If truth represented a cube, then fragments of the cube represent partial truths. When influences don't gather the full facts, information is compromised in a split trajectory between truth and falsehood. Examine if one person learned the truth and one person held on to a lie. The deferred information becomes a conflict of origin. It is at this point influences can choose to gather facts or choose to make conclusive judgments. It is by this element of human behavior where one can distinguish control from character integrity. As shown in this pattern, first they form opinions, second they speak over the person, third they stop him in his tracks, fourth they debilitate him. And now I'd like to immerse you in an example of social injustice because of compromised communication. If a person couldn't speak, taking an item that belongs to him, he walks away and acts afraid because he thinks someone is out to hurt him. Observers may assume that he's a thief and treat him accordingly. As they enact upon false information, his displacement goes anywhere from paying a penalty to influences spreading rumors. When a person is misunderstood and is pathologically displaced because of underlying conditions, I call this the imposition of function. I'll now immerse you in circumstances where influences ignore the conditions of an individual and replaces seeking understanding versus projecting accusations. Here's a number of examples where marriage falls apart because one's insecurity overrides another's function. As one who forgets tasks, a list of information a person is expected to remember, a distraction interrupts him. He forgets what he was doing, and then influences may give him a hard time. Let's compare approaches. From this scenario, one person could diagnose his conditions and provide support measures to prevent future conflict, or could assume his intent and proceed with filing a divorce. Now let's continue with more displacing circumstances that occur because of function and positions. He forgets his belongings. It costs him for everything that is misplaced. He just went shopping, he can't remember where he parked. Finds his car and perhaps has trouble remembering his way back home. It costs him peace of mind and possibly his relationships. Let's not forget the perspective of being confined within a box of fulfilling expectations, neglecting relationships and spiritual development as one loses self to function. Here's two scenarios on how someone can interact with them in this circumstance. His spouse may tell him to simplify his life and put more effort into looking after his family, or she may reinforce his stress with unreasonable expectations of a high-maintenance lifestyle. All of these examples listed under the imposition of function has these in common: maintaining a normality, expectation without understanding, and lack of support from the evaluating influences. Now let's put into perspective influences who exercise positional advantage to exploit those with impositions of function. They judge you before they understand you. They avoid you before you can clarify. They act before they listen. They spread narratives before they learn the truth. They paint in the worst possible light to ostracize you. I'm referring to individuals who want to do the right thing, but because of impositions of function, made incorrect choices, when they need people to listen and help them through the handicap, but instead are pathologically displaced. Now this displacing behavior in society happens more often than one thinks. Put yourself in the shoes of a person who has a handicap or had been psychologically abused. Now immerse yourself in these scenarios. An invitation was given to go on a field trip. A number of people raised their hands. Those who didn't is assumed as disinterested. A number of people joined a competition. Many received help from their family and friends, but others didn't receive help. The winners are selected among the ones who displayed optimal results. I'm not referring to rebellion or discipline measures, but rather conditions beyond a person's control that pathologically leads to displacement. Now what about a healthy brain? In the next segment, I'll talk about how the environment can impact one's ability to function.